The CFL Gambling Podcast Week 13 reaction show on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with the promo code TCE SGPN to score up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Yes, they do have CFL action. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCE SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your free 7-day trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. And make sure to enter the free roll football contest. Up to $3,500 in prizes is up for grabs. Yes, go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/free roll. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/free roll to enter today. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride.
Hey, this is Derek Stevens. I'm the owner of Circa Las Vegas. You're listening to FGPN. Let it ride.
Welcome to the CFL Gambling Podcast Week 13 reaction show. I just like listening to this. Let's go. Welcome as another week of Canadian football has come to a close, and well, there were some surprises. I don't know what's up with my I didn't have the greatest week yet again. If you just faded me all year, you'd be very, very rich. You'd probably be able to buy your own island. We'll talk all about that. Once again, youtube.com, hop over there, CFL Gambling Podcast, hit that like and subscribe button. If you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, my name is Kobe Swinging Database Dan, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
And you're nothing but a chameleon, lemon-headed, coward, terrorist pussy. And I'm after you, buddy. You're going to pay for it. Good night.
Woo! There's been surprises in this league. Left, right, all over. Every week, for me at least. maybe for someone picking better ATS, there's no surprise. And they're hitting all the huge tips parlays. All right. I am joined by my co-host. He is the host of the Old Fashioned Football Podcast and the UFL Gambling Podcast. Give it up for Justin Mark, a.k.a. No Turn J Mark. How are you, brother?
Doing all right. Starting to finally feel a little bit more human, recovering from the Rona. Just started drinking a bunch of Coronas. I heard that.
I don't get
alcohol is always the savior.
I have had a lot of hot toddies because I truly believe every time I'm sick, as soon as I have a hot toddy, I start improving. You
ever seen the documentary, How Beer Saved the World?
Mm-mm.
Should watch that one because you'll learn that alcohol saves all. My son, White Tiger, if he ever gets a cut, I'm just going to throw a bottle of gin and Jack Daniels into that thing. Because I know alcohol will prevail. All right.
Little thimble of whiskey. They used to do it all the time.
That's what I'm talking about. Fix that thing. We're still waiting on our whiskey sponsor or our beer sponsor, Labatt Blue. Hasn't answered any of our phone calls, even though I haven't actually physically called them. We've said it on these very airwaves, which I know travel, through Winnipeg, over to Regina, over to Saskatoon, you know what I mean? All off through the fine country of Canada. But we're waiting for that. It's okay. Seagram 7, we're available. Crown Royal, we're available. Pendleton, love Terry Pendleton, we're available. So yeah, waiting on that. It's okay. We'll wait it out. I got patience, I got patience to still do this show because my picks have been ass. Let's jump right into it. But any thoughts on the Week 13 action there? Love the 2 games on Labor Day. They do it right. Rivalry games played. I wish college football would take notes on that. But yeah, it's fantastic.
I think if the bosses keep us around after our shitty picks next year, we need to really pencil this weekend in with the fact that nothing makes sense. It's just like any good rivalry. This weekend, the Labor Day Classic, anything can happen, right? That's just how I felt watching these. It's like this isn't making any sense, but these guys knew it was a big weekend. They knew there were going to be eyes on them, and they showed up. And I think that's something we need to think about next year.
Yeah, I need to think about a lot of shit over the next year. All right, not just the huge tits parlay that I always think about. Well, it started off on Saturday with just a royal ass whooping.
Yeah.
Okay, Nathan Rourke. Maybe I'm buying back in on BC because 29 first downs to 14. 453 total yards to 277. BC Lions 38, the Red Blacks 12. This was never close.
No.
I mean, it was just never close. This was over early. Didn't have to watch too much of it. And yeah, your thoughts?
Yeah, it was 31-6 at halftime, and there was that gut wrenching feeling of there goes the first leg of my huge tits parlay. That's done.
That is a gut wrenching feeling. I know all about that.
The biggest thing here is, I guess, the biggest storyline. Nathan Rourke looked really good. Looks like he's, the announcers even said it. He's got his timing back. He's ready to roll.
It's easy to see a tide turn.
Exactly. And I'm hearing that Vernon Adams may be healthy now. So what the fuck do they do now? That's why we originally said we feel like they kind of screwed themselves here. After he played such an electric game and did so well, put up 38 points, looked really good. Do you put him back on the bench because VA is back and that's the guy that was leading your team? Do you let VA sit there? Like, what are they going to do? And then Ottawa, I just feel like they didn't game plan well. They didn't show up to this game. They were licking their wounds on offense and defense. So it's going to be interesting to see how they bounce back this week.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to panic on Ottawa yet because they've been rolling. Tough road spot. But it's fascinating to watch the Vernon Adams, Nathan Rourke situation in BC. Can it work out? Is Rick Campbell that good of a coach to manage both personalities? Because people don't think that's coaching. That is fucking coaching. Keeping them all happy, buying them fucking Happy Meals. You know what I mean? All that good shit. You know what I mean? Like, got to keep them happy. Got to keep them happy. Take them to the strip. You take them to the strip club different nights. You know what I mean? I just looked at, this one I didn't watch much of because it was a blowout, but also I handle college football for SGPN. So that was going toe to toe with that. So I did quickly look at it and I go, ugh. And then I go, okay, we can move on to the next game. Sunday, we did have the Winnipeg Blue Bombers cash as a dog. Don't disregard the spread at the bottom here. Their website was jacked up when I wrote this down. But the Blue Bombers got it done 35-33. They almost pissed this game away. But the only thing I could talk shit about here was that my Blue Bombers hit it on the money line. Which is hilarious because they were outgained by over 100 yards. Your thoughts, Strevler, my boy, coming up strong. And what is going on in Saskatchewan? I mean, they just can't find a way to win a game right now. It started out so promising for Corey Mason company, but it's rough seas lately. And Winnipeg, are they destined for the 111th Grey Cup with wins like this?
Sure feels like it. I mean, they're going back to running the ball, pounding the ball, right? I mean, that's where they're having the most success. I know Olivier only had 42 yards, but that's where they've been kind of getting advantage over these teams. I thought Claros, he had another up and down game and then he got hit hard. I mean, he took some hits that game, finally knocked him out, and Strevler came in. And we saw some things with Strevler, like you talked about, I think just last week, about how he's a wild card. It's hard for the defenses to plan for him because he can move around so well. He does,
especially in this league.
Yeah.
Like in this league, there's no like they don't have other players like him.
Right.
It makes it incredibly hard to prep for. Everyone's prepping like, I feel like almost like in the NFL or even it's changing into college too. Everyone wants the same system.
Yep.
And to me, you saw it in the college front with Vanderbilt beating Virginia Tech, and a lot of that had to do with system and like you don't always have to have the best looking quarterback as throwing the ball. Get the guy who can fight there and win you games and make it hard to prep for. And make you take you out of your comfort zone. And that's what, in my opinion, Chris Drevler does. So
yeah, 100%. I like how you had to throw in the Virginia Tech loss there for Kramer. That's a good just off point stab at him. As far as Saskatchewan, I don't know. I mean, their defense seems to be falling off the cliff. Trevor Harris, you can't really fault him. I mean, he threw for 368 yards and 3 touchdowns. It's hard to point the finger at him. They couldn't run the ball very well either. Frankie Hickson only 10 carries, 32 yards. I think it's just this defense. This defense is letting people walk all over them, especially when it matters. They don't create stops when they absolutely need them.
Yeah. And like the yardage, I mean, they had 100 more yards, but Winnipeg was kind of in control of the game. If anything, they almost shit the bed. They almost shit the bed here. Fun game though, and the Bombers just continue to we thought they were down and out early in the year, and they got the heart of a lions, tigers, and bears, as Mike Tyson once said. Jumping to the Labor Day games, we had the Argos. This one is just makes me want to vomit. Of course, I took the Argos. I thought it was a revenge game because the Ticats beat them the first time. And if you would have told me, okay, you could have even told me the Ticats are going to upset the Argos. I would have been reluctant to believe it. But what I would not have said was they're going to outrush the Toronto Argonauts. I can't believe this, man. And Chris Jones has instantly came in to the Ticats and made their defense way more respectable. Chad Kelly in Toronto, as much as I thought they were going to take their next step this week, not the case, as he struggled. And I mean, 142 rushing yards for the Hamilton Ticats. What? This is a team that was running for like 20 yards a game the whole year. Very impressive stuff. And I guess, are they back in the mix to make this playoff run? The Hamilton Ticats, J Mark?
I mean, it's possible because they are showing up better. They're winning some games. I was impressed with the run too, especially when, I mean, I'm a big James Butler guy and they've been without him, and Greg Bell has just been the type of runner that is fitting this offense well. I feel like he's the ground and pound guy that is fitting well. This game pissed me off because when it was 21-3 in the first quarter, I thought, these fucking Hamilton Ticats, they're pussies in the second half. They're going to lose this game. So I put a good chunk of change on Toronto money line. And, I ended up eating that. Fucking Chad Kelly, everybody knows my despise for him when he ran into his center. It wasn't the butt fumble. He didn't fumble it, but it was very Mark Sanchez-esque. And, people forget that before he was suspended, before he was suspended, his last game in the conference finals, he threw 4 interceptions. I mean, this is a guy that was struggling before that suspension. Is he really the answer at quarterback? Can he get out of that mentally and turn this around? I'm not sure.
Yeah, he felt like shit afterwards. Everybody booing the shit out of me, but he worked his ass off.
I just can't believe they got swept right now. So 2 straight losses to the Hamilton Ticats. This is something about these rivalry games, man. It's like, and now it gives Hamilton a little bit of hope.
Yeah. And you talked about their run game. I wouldn't have believed that Levi Mitchell was going to throw for 347 yards. That shocked me as too. Even Tua's brother, Talia Tagovailoa, got in and got some action. And he's another guy that is a wild card on certain plays because he can throw the ball, but he's fast as shit when he runs too. So that's another wild card guy.
Yeah, and it would be interesting to see. But if Jones keeps tightening up this defense, I mean, they still gave up 445, but I mean, I feel like they're a little bit tougher just from the eye test.
Yeah,
like
agreed.
So maybe there's still magic left there with those fans. Dropping the old hammer. Monday, and like I said, it was great on Monday to just sit back, watch CFL on Labor Day. The second game was the Eskimos. I hate Calgary. Heading into Calgary, you're off a bye week. You're off a goddamn bye week, and you give up 588 yards of offense. I know, and Trey Ford is healthy again, but they didn't. They went with McLeod Bethel Thompson. Oh my God, 18 rush yards. This team's fucking pathetic. They're fucking pathetic. You had a bye week and you come out and rush for 18 yards against an Eskimos defense that hasn't been great all year. No. Just, you want to talk about, this was the worst dud. 5 turnovers to 0. Unfucking believable. I'm done with Calgary. I'm never taking them again. I took them here. I ate shit. They're the reason why I had a losing week. I'm done. I'm done on this team. And may God have mercy on your souls. What did you make of this one?
Well, I tried to warn you that I didn't think Jake Mayer could pull the locker room together and win. And he comes out and throws 4 interceptions. Now the coach says they're not sure what they're going to do at quarterback. I don't think they have a lot of great options, to be honest. But yeah, they only ran the ball 8 times. And like you said, 18 yards. You got to do better than that. And then McLeod Bethel Thompson, I know he's long in the tooth, but shit, he came out, throws for 486 yards, 3 touchdowns, looked like prime McLeod, or maybe the best he's looked yet. I'm not sure, but what a performance. And I think more of that is Calgary's defense. Their defense is terrible. It's the worst defense in the league, but shout out to the Eskimos, who they're live in this playoff race.
Yeah, 100%. Let's talk about that. But before we do that, I want to tell you that the CFL Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy Pick'em gives you a chance to win 1,000 times the amount of money you enter. The NFL is back this week with that wacky ass kickoff, and there are a ton of Pick'em specials to get you started. You can now use specials and boost on all flexed entries. So sign up, and when you do, sign up with the promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick list. First time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. They also have college football, best ball, CFL action. Get on over to UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCESGPN. All right, we are back. Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about, I know we got to do our power rankings and stuff, but I'm looking at these standings here, and like the week upon us, we have 1 Friday game and 3 Saturday games. But I mean, we only have a few weeks left of this season in a way. What is this? Week 14 is upon us this week. You got BC and Montreal squaring off. Montreal, remember the Alouettes had the bye last week. Some people think that still might be the Grey Cup now that they added Nathan Rourke. You got Toronto heading to Ottawa on Saturday. The BC Montreal is Friday. Toronto is at Ottawa on Saturday. Saskatchewan is at Winnipeg on Saturday, triple header, and then Calgary is at the Eskimos. All pretty substantial games there, but which one are you most excited to see there? I think you're on mute.
I am on mute. It's a toss up for me between that BC Montreal game and Saskatchewan Winnipeg. I think both of those are going to be really good games. Can Saskatchewan finally win a game? They keep getting close, or will Winnipeg, kind of dominate them again? And then the BC Montreal. I mean, I'm sure Montreal was watching those games, just wishing they were playing, because that was just the way the energy of those games. It just felt a little bit different. So I'm sure they were wishing they weren't sitting at home. But I'm interested to see, can BC keep it going with Nathan Rourke? Does Vernon Adams come in, and what happens there?
Yeah, and I feel like going back to what I was going to say with the standings is I'm going to go ahead and say if Winnipeg wins this game against Saskatchewan, they've basically solidified a playoff spot. Now, I know they could theoretically lose out. Other teams could win. But remember, Calgary is playing, the Eskimos. The Stampeders are taking on the Eskimos. So someone's got to win. Someone's got to lose there. But I'm going to say if the Bombers can take care of home field against the Rough Riders, I think they've clinched in my eyes. They got to love the fact that they're looking and seeing BC having to go to Montreal. They can grab a game lead on everybody here with a win. I'd actually say it's probable. And then in the other, and I guess you can't even count out, as much as I shit on Calgary and they look awful to me, they're still alive. They're still very much alive.
Barely.
Yeah. Maybe
Not
you
if
do
they
switch
keep
it up
playing
with the
that way.
quarterback. Yeah, maybe you do switch it up with the quarterback. They still haven't won a road game, but then you have the East Division where Montreal is still running away with it. Ottawa though only got a 1 game lead on, or I guess 1.5 game lead on Toronto. And Hamilton, like I said, with that win and now the tiebreaker on Toronto, essentially, there's still a tiny bit of hope, but I still feel like the East Division's much more figured out than the West. Anything you want to add to that?
Just that Montreal, with Ottawa losing and Toronto losing, Montreal officially clinched a playoff berth. So they're the first team that we know they're going to be in the playoffs. Now that's important for betting because now that they know they're in it, they might rest some guys, sporadically here and there or towards the end of the season. So you got to keep an eye on the depth charts that the CFL actually does a pretty decent job of releasing.
Yeah. Something to note for sure. And I know we got to do our power rankings, but before we do that, I want to tell you that the CFL Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Rhythm. Have you ever wanted to create your own sports betting model for football? Do you even know what a sports betting model is? Well, SGPN's proud partner, Rhythm, is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform. It helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds and get predictions for betting on money lines, spreads, totals, and props. The Rhythm college football models had me on Colorado, North Dakota State under 59.5, which was a sweet cash. It's got me liking that Iowa State under this week. Check out the college football experience for more on that. But claim your free 7-day trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. We're also brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is now an authorized ticket marketplace of the MLB, which makes getting tickets even faster and easier. All right. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. With killer last minute deals, all in prices, views from your seat, and the lowest price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. Let's get yourself out to a Blue Jays game. All right. The season's winding down. All right. Look, this works for anything. You're going to go see some comedy. You're going to go see some theater. You're in Toronto. You want to see some theater. Fucking highly recommend the Book of Mormon. You catch that. Boom. You're fine. How about you're going out to a game? Maybe you are in Montreal and you're saying, hey, I want to get out to Memorial Stadium there. Molson Memorial Stadium, if memory serves me correct. We'll pull out the Game Time app. Use the promo code CFBX. And it will save you $20 off your first purchase. Download that Game Time app. Create an account. Once again, terms apply. Redeeming code CFBX for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last bit of tickets, lowest price. Get redeemed. It is time for power rankings. More power. Raw. I got Calgary at 9. I hate this team. They're Hamilton of the West.
I like it and I agree with you. That defense is terrible. I don't think Jake Mayer's a winner. I don't think he can pull the locker room together. So yeah, I got him at 9 as well.
At 8, I do have Hamilton. I think those two are kind of mirror images, but I think Hamilton's showing signs of getting tougher, while Calgary is showing signs of becoming a little bit more pussy. So, would you agree?
I agree they're bad, but they're not my number 8. This is probably more of a fuck Chad Kelly type deal, but give me Toronto at number 8. I just don't like how they've been playing. They lack guts.
Well, I don't get they bring the head cold, but
That was shocking to me. Hey, but Hamilton's beat him twice, so I guess guess you got that on your side. At number 7 to me is the Eskimos. Although this team has got a little mojo lately. These Eskimos, these pesky Eskimos with Jarius Jackson, they got a little mojo. They could very well be in the top 4 in the next couple weeks. But who do you got at 7?
I have Hamilton here. They are looking, like you said, a little bit better, playing a little bit better. I'm still not a full believer, but I do think that they're improving. They're trending up. So yeah, I got Hamilton at 7.
All right. And at 6 for me, I have the Rough Riders. I still have Toronto, above all those. So we are seeing very differently this week. Rough Riders seem to be crumbling down the stretch. Can Corey Mace find a way to pick it up, to figure things out? Obviously, they go to Winnipeg this week, and I don't think it looks too great for him there. What are you doing at number 6?
I got Edmonton. I think their defense is improving a lot. We've seen that the past 2 weeks. And the offense, I mean, they have a lot of playmakers. It's not been a lack of playmakers. Doesn't seem to, we saw this weekend, they don't necessarily need Trey Ford at quarterback, even though I do think he's better. But yeah, I'm encouraged by what I see by Edmonton. They are definitely a team that is going to be kind of sneaky towards the end of the stretch here.
Yeah, I would agree. They definitely have things going the right way. At number 5, I do have your Argos. They just have firepower that some of these teams don't have. Now, it didn't look good last week, but they still have firepower. So I had to respect that at putting them at 5. Who do you got at 5?
Have you noticed when they run the ball, good things happen? But since Chad Kelly's returned, they are not running it as much, and they need to get back to that. It's crazy.
I agree.
Number 5, I have Saskatchewan. I think their defense is starting to not show up, and this was a defense that we thought was really good. So, yeah, I think they're trending the wrong direction right now.
Yeah, I would say that would be very fair there. Well, this is where it was tricky for me. I actually thought this week was harder than last week's.
Agreed.
At 4, I put BC. I just think you're going to have this. Too many cooks in the kitchen. Shout out to Nick Fortune in the chat there. But yeah. And once again, hop over to YouTube, folks. CFL Gambling Podcast on YouTube. Hit that like and subscribe button. I just need to see BC consistently do it, especially knowing that Adams is going to be healthy. I think it creates kind of some uncertainty. So they're my number 4. How about you?
Yeah, and to Nick's point, I should have done what he did. I went Argos money line when they were down. He took the points. He took it the right way. I got BC as well. Kind of exactly what you said. Now that Vernon Adams is trending healthy, what do you do? And I think that really kind of divides the locker room, and it's going to piss some guys off, and you're going to see that division on the field.
Yeah, I would agree. You still have to respect what they just did. They just had a very good offensive performance, and they have 2 very good quarterbacks that in a league that doesn't have that many great quarterbacks. Maybe they have the 2 best you could argue the 2 best in the entire league. At number 3, I have the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and I almost put them at 2, man. I almost put them at 2. It's just every time I really buy in, they give me a lemon. That's why I'm concerned about this week, because I'm buying in again, and I like Strevler getting more reps, even though I know it came from an injury situation with Caleros. I believe he gives him the best chance to win. So, Bombers at number 3. Who do you got at 3?
I've got Ottawa at number 3. That performance was pathetic. I do think they can turn it around, but for right now, it knocked them down. I had them at 2, which, spoiler alert, the people you just said might be at number 2. That's who I have at 2, Winnipeg. But yeah, until Ottawa can show that they can rebound from that. I mean, they have BC, or they have Toronto now. That should be a bounce back game at home, but can they answer that call? Because Toronto's also in a spiral that they need to bounce back.
Yeah, I went with Ottawa at number 2, and my main logic is I think they've been consistently better than Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Winnipeg seems to be trending the right way, but throughout the whole season, I feel like Ottawa's been consistently better. We'll see how they respond to this loss and get back up. But yeah, that's my number 2, and I'm just gonna go ahead and everyone's gonna have Montreal 1, but who do you have at 2?
Yeah, I got Winnipeg at 2. I think at a certain point you can rely on coaching and history and just that feel of, hey, we've been here before, we've won this before, we can keep doing this. And I think that can work to their side to a point and get that confidence, and they're trending up.
Amen. And then the Alouettes, week off, they look great. I'm fascinated. Can Nathan Rourke be the guy to take down the Alouettes this weekend in Montreal? Fascinating game Friday night, folks. That's our show. Make sure you give JMark a follow on Twitter at JMarkFootball. I'm on Twitter at TheColbyD. The CFL Gambling Podcast is on Twitter at CFL Gambling Pod. Hop on over there. Like I said, youtube.com, CFL Gambling Podcast. Hit that like and subscribe button and let us know. Let us know your connection to Labatt Blue or someone told me that Foster's is really made in Canada. Is that true?
I don't know for sure.
The Australian beer.
I don't
allegedly.
Know for sure. I should reach out. There's a Iowa whiskey here, or Iowa distillery, that blends a Canadian whiskey. They get it from Canada. It's called Obtainium. That's who I should be reaching out to.
Look, give me the Platanium. All right, let's do it. Let's do it like Doc Brown and Back to the Future. That was like the part that was very interesting. Wasn't he meeting with he was meeting with like a terrorist group for Platanium. They don't really explain that part.
No.
I'm sure it has. Does that have something to do with going 88 miles an hour? I don't know. But he was on the Doc Brown, Marty McFly, known to be on the black market buying suspect things, so to speak. Anyway, folks,
this went down a rabbit hole quickly.
Yeah, we can do a lot on Back to the Future. I like big fan of the Back to the Future series. I pray that they never try to remake this because it will be ass. After I've seen all these other shitty remakes, just don't touch this. Try something original. All right. But big fan of Biff Tannen, hell of a good guy. And Biff Tannen, he's the type of guy that would watch some CFL football. So until next time, folks, this is the CFL Gambling Podcast. And I look forward to the pick show, which we're probably going to have on Friday morning. Got a crazy schedule. So we're traveling around, meetings. We're important people in society. All right. Apparently. I guess. Till next time, folks. This is the CFL Gambling Podcast. You better start thinking about yours. And we are out of here.
I lost a bet on the Super Bowl, so I had to dive in and crawl around through the snow. Don't believe me? Believe me, there's a video. We made it to promote March 5th and then we did the show. Before March, there was a winter to be lived through, and snow fell on the DC metropolis. In some other cities, this wouldn't be big news, but where I live, it felt like an apocalypse. Not the kind where zombies are the wrath of God, but the kind where Mother Nature doesn't laugh it off. I didn't laugh at all. I saw the sky smoking the blunt, now waiting for the ash to fall. Traffic stalled for a few weeks. Capitol Hill of snow taking up a parking space. A couple notches on the beltway ain't unique, but higher in freezes get more than your heart to race. I mean, the rats were frostbitten, they lost it, risking their lives just to make it to the office. Exhausting, caustic, cold front rose up through the mid-Atlantic and did its damage. Detective Baylor didn't expect a camera and brought a gun to a snowball fight. I know my rights in the seasonal mood swing. Some of us winning, some of us losing. That broken clock's been blinking since winter. I hope it's not telling me I was born to lose. I lost my temper, but I found my center, winning winter, so I can stay